I'm Silver. It is Wednesday, November 4th. A quick welcome back must go to all returning viewers. If you did tune in last time and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. And I just also wanted to say a quick hello to all new viewers. Thank you for giving me a shot. Before I get into the rest of the episode, I'm going to apologize. I, on Monday, decided, you know what, I'm going to delay recording a couple days just to kind of give a buffer between the end of October and now. There, that is the easy statement on that one. Anyway, I do have a lot to talk to you about for the month, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So please just grab your drink of choice, your crafting, and away we go. I'm actually drinking a cup of pumpkin spice latte or pumpkin spice mix coffee from Starbucks. So I'm just going to take a drink and then we will get started. You guys, it's so good. Sorry, I always need to take at least two. I should know better. Okay, in this episode, we do have my favorite things, where we talk about things that came up during the course of the month that I really, really like and I really want to share with you. We do have FOs, or finished objects. We do have works in progress, or WIPs. We also have Silver's Unraveling Fast. It's where I talk about projects that I've either ripped or abandoned based on how I'm feeling for the week or month or whatever. X's and O's is basically any other crafting that I do. That includes my writing style, sometimes cross stitch. I mean, it could be anything, literally anything, as you'll see later in the episode. We also do have Radio GaGa. We also do have Silver's book pile, Silver and the Case of the Screen Time, The More You Know, where we talk administrative stuff, and The End of the Road. Okay, I am going to take another quick drink and then we will get started. My favorite things. All right, so I do have a couple things to talk to you about. The first, I'm actually just going to talk about how our Halloween and everything else went. I want to thank everyone who came by and watched all the videos during October. The month of October was one episode a day, prep for most of the month. I kind of really had fun putting all those together and playing that game of, can you guess what quote went to what movie. I really enjoyed that. As to Halloween itself, it was definitely a low-key affair here in our household, mostly because I take Halloween as a way to commune with a lot of like my anxiety self and all the people who have passed in my life, because that, if you don't know, Halloween is actually the day where the veil between the living and the dead is actually very thin so that this can happen. Yeah. Besides that, it was a pretty good night. I think MTI and I just kind of played it by ear that day. Anyway, the second thing I do want to talk to you about is the fact that CC of Java Pearl Designs and GGKCS podcast, they actually released 2 new patterns on October 30th. I had the pleasure of test knitting both. The name of those patterns is I'll have 2 copies and 2 cherry danishes to go please socks, and I'll have 2 coffees and 2 cherry danishes to go please cowl. I test knit both of these. I absolutely love this pattern. It's one of those patterns where if you're not paying attention, you might do it wrong. But like once you have gotten into the rhythm of the pattern, you're just like, oh, I got this, no problem. In the test knit phase, I knit 2 different pairs of the socks and 1 of the cowl. I now, spoiler, have another pair of the socks on the needles, but I'll talk about that later. All of these patterns they now have up on their website, which is www.javapearldesigns.com/cherry. Now, until tomorrow, November the 5th, there's a coupon code that CC created on that website for 25% off either or both of these patterns until tomorrow, the 5th. So you know, the code, like I mentioned, is JPD Cherry. That's J as in James, P as in Peter, D as in David, then the word cherry spelled CHERRY. I'm going to be putting it down below on the title cards that you see across the pictures of the FOs. I have been teasing these socks and the cowl for so long that it was awesome to be able to share this with you guys. I'm super excited for CC. Trust me. I probably was more ready for them to be posted than she was that day. Yeah, I was. Obviously, she's on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. So I'm like, hey, what time did you want me to put all the pictures of these up? And she was just like, give me a couple hours, because she's got stuff going on. Anyway, before I continue rambling, I'm going to go ahead and finish what little coffee I've left because it's actually just after noon here, which means I should not be drinking coffee after about now. But I'll go ahead and I'll drink that coffee and I will see you in the next segment. All right, let us talk FOs, or what I have finished since the last time we talked. I'm looking at the list. I literally have 10 things that I finished this month. What? I did not think I finished this much. I mean, this includes 10 projects, not necessarily 10 objects, and you'll see why and I say that in a sec. The first thing that I did finish was a total of 12 squares for my Scrappy Happy Blanket Take 2. These are basically 11 round blanket squares that I will hook up on a G hook, which is a 4.25 millimeter. I use a lot of different scraps to make these squares, and then by the end of the year I will actually probably mattress stitch them together at this point and then put a border on, and yay. I'm so excited. I have a recipient in mind for that one, so I'm kind of excited about that. The next thing that I did finish since the last time we talked is actually 15 hexies for my hexie blanket. I don't have a fancy name for the blanket because, yeah. They are basically 5 round hexies. There's no real pattern. I go until there are 10 stitches per side of the hexie. Honestly, I'm also using a lot of miscellaneous yarn scraps. Those that are left over from the squares go automatically into the hexies. And I just keep making hexies until I have about 2 grams left, or just under 2 grams. Each hexie, I have noticed, takes about 3. So I don't have a lot of the tags from the scraps that I've been using for this reason. It's literally like they're just gone. They might still be in my craft room upstairs somewhere, but I doubt it. Anyway, I've actually been using a size G hook, but this is actually a 4.0 millimeter on my Knit Picks, like the Comfort Grip one that I have, the purple handle one. For some reason, when I bought a USG, I didn't look at the millimeter. But to be fair, the 4.25 millimeter G-hook that I have is actually really old, so who knows if the standards have changed. Anyone have a history of that? Please let me know down below. I would really love to know. Anyway, the third thing that I finished since the last time we talked is what I just called simply October DVD socks. I used the pattern Toe Up Socks with a Difference by Wendy D. Johnson, and I used a colorway from DVD, who is Desert Vista Dye Works, on the Bezo base in the colorway Somebody Loves the Knit Girls. I love this color, you guys. For these socks, I did use the size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circulars for a majority of the sock until I got to the toes, heels, and cuffs, because that's just how I do. I need a little bit more room when I'm working on those. The purl stitch for me, for some reason, takes a little bit more torque, I guess, and more room to do. Don't know why. Anyway. Alright, so the next thing that I did finish was what I called Milo A. I did use the pattern Milo by Georgie Helen. I used a US 6, which is a 4.0 millimeter on 19-inch marble circs for the entire sweater pattern. And I used Paintbox Yarns 100% worsted superwash wool in the Kingfisher blue colorway. I love how this came out. The person that actually helped me purchase the yarn to make these for our recipient absolutely loves it too. So, spoiler. Anyway, I did also make another Milo, again, the Milo pattern by Georgie Helen. For this one, I did use the Paintbox Yarns in the 100% worsted superwash wool, again, in the spearmint green colorway. And again, these were on my US 6, which is a 4.0 16-inch marble circs. For this one, I decided to go with the owl patterning. Oh, absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. I cannot wait for the recipient to get that. The next thing that I did finish since the last time we talked is what I called Purple Hat. I didn't really come up with a nice name for the hat. Anyway, the pattern that I used on this one was the Sockhead Hat by Kelly McClure. And I used a colorway from Paintbox Yarn Socks, actually in the zebra colorway. Well, one of the zebra colorways called Violette, obviously, which is a purple striping sequence, kind of like a zebra. Hence, I guess, the colorway name? I don't know. For this particular hat, I used a size 3, which is a 3.25 millimeter on 16-inch Haya sharps until I got to the brim, which I ended up using a pair of my, what are they called? Wooden US 3 needle DPNs. Wow, brain fart. Okay. For the entirety of this project, I ended up using a rando Ziploc bag that I had around, just because, quite frankly, it wasn't on the needles long enough to warrant a bag. So, anyway, the next thing that I did finish is what I called a Biker Chicks Mayhem. Again, you haven't seen this since I recorded last. I am using... For this one, I used the Upstairs Downstairs A Cowl in 3 Sizes by Paula Emmons Fuzel. I ended up making this a lot longer than what she calls for. There's a middle band that's supposed to be 5 garter ridges. I ended up multiplying that by like 3 or 4 times. I ended up using 18 rows instead of the 5. So you do the math. I'm too lazy. For this particular pattern, the yarn that I used on this was Miss Babs Yowza mini skeins in the Biker Chick and Mayhem colorways. And I also ended up using a little bit of what I have left over from Leading Men Fiber Arts in their Dramaturg or their DK base. The colorway is called Love You to Pieces. Basically for the bottom and top garter bands, as I knew I wasn't going to have enough to equally split the 2 mini skeins unless I added another color to the mix. Plus, I had lots left over, so I wanted to use it in something. For this project, I used a US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter on 24-inch Smart Sticks. I love those needles, you guys, but they do hurt my hands. So I had to take a few breaks between when I was using them. Mostly when I use a larger size needle. Anytime I have a darker color yarn, which is what I used, I have a lot of like dye runoff on my fingers. It has nothing to do with the dyers, don't get me wrong. It's just the way I knit. I have to keep prefacing that because I absolutely love these colorways and the dyers that are included. So anyway, this was actually housed in my Harry Potter phrase bag, basically Aloha Mora, you know, all those spells and stuff. I don't remember who it's by, and there's no tag on it. Sorry. Anyway, the next thing that I did finish is actually 2 different projects. I called them Kit Kat Hats 1 and 2. I made 2 Kit Kat hats by Andre Stu Knits. I used Paintbox Yarns 100% worsted superwash wool in the bubblegum pink and that colorway. I absolutely love it. I did use a size US 6, which is a 4.0 16-inch marble circs for these as well. I love these needles, you guys. They are so comfy. I'm actually working on them on something that I will talk about later. Anyway, this is actually being housed in my TARDIS bag by the Knitted Broomstick. I love these two hats, you guys. I put them aside for a few recipients, just in case. Don't get me started. Anyway, that's the reason I made them, and I'm going to stick with it. The last thing I'm going to talk about that I finished is what I called pumpkin socks. Honestly, this whole month has been a, what do I call it? Well, I'm working with this colorway, so let's just call it that. That's the brain. That's where my brain's been at. Can you tell? Anyway, so with these socks, I don't really have a pattern that I used. It's just an afterthought everything style sock where you basically just, you knit until the end of your first sock or your first foot, and then you put in waste yarn, keep going until you get to the halfway point, put another, round of waste yarn, and then you do the same for the second sock. I do love this style of sock. I don't make them very often, quite frankly, because I keep forgetting every time with the tube that I need to put at least a little bit of yarn to cut away later. Yeah, that was my bad this time. I don't know if I addressed it in October, but yeah, it was kind of funny to watch me try to figure out, okay, how do I detach this without losing the ends, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I ended up using Gnome Makers in the Spiffy Gnome base in the pumpkin spice latte colorway. I also used a black, I don't remember who it's by, I'm sorry, I've had it for a while. I just kind of use it for heels, toes, and cuffs whenever the urge strikes me. And for this one, I did use a size US 1, which is a 2.25 9-inch circulars for most of the sock itself. I did end up using two 16-inch circulars actually for all the prep work when I finally detached. Anyway, I honestly have been rambling for so long. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. All right, let's talk what's on the needles now. The first one I want to talk about is what I called DVD Love Less Than 3. This is the Granny Stripes pattern by Attic24. I am basically using a bunch of my Desert Vista Dye Works scraps, and it actually goes more than a couple stripes each. Basically, I do have a full list of all the colorways that I've been using on my personal blog, so if you'd like to see that, you can go ahead and visit there. I will go ahead and link in the show notes and down below. I'm using a lot of scraps in the blanket. I think I have gotten to the point where I am squared off, so yay. I have last month's colorway to finish putting on there. And then this month's once I finish the Desert Vista socks. But either way, I am rambling. I'm actually using a size G hook, which is a 4.25 millimeter hook. The next thing that's actually on the hook is what I called what's in the bag. Honestly, I have been making a crochet bag using all different forms of stitches for crochet, including double, treble, and single, just kind of making it up as I go along. I'm going to be honest, I have not touched this since the beginning of the month, like just after I had recorded. As the hook that I was using is actually really huge, and so it was making my hands hurt, so I kind of needed a break. And then I actually put it into a box that I have, like, literally right by me. I keep forgetting about it because it's just sitting there. Yeah, anyway. Anyway. I am using an M hook, which is probably one of the hugest hooks that I have in my repertoire. Yeah. It made my hand hurt after a while, but mostly because it was a combination of the hook and the colorways that I've used of Super Saver yarn, Red Heart yarn. When you put two worsted yarns together, it just makes everything big. So I did use an orange and black together, and I'm using a purple and blue together for the bottom of the bag, and then the orange and the black will be up at the top. I am probably going to put in a third color eventually. Just I don't know yet. Like I said, I'm playing it by ear. The next thing that I've actually been working on, actually what I've been working on since the beginning of this episode, is what I called Kit Kat hat for me. This is actually the Kit Kat hat pattern by Andrews Knits. I am actually using a mixture of two different yarns. The first is the Paint Box Yarns 100% worsted superwash wool in the bubblegum pink colorway. I used that for the brim. And then I am using a colorway from Miss Babs Yowza. I don't remember the colorway name. It is remaining from a holiday present that I made for somebody, and I don't have the tag anymore already. Sorry. I am using a size of 6, which is a 4.0 millimeter on my 16-inch marble circs. I love these needles, like I mentioned before. I have been happily doing stockinette since we started talking today. Again, this is actually being housed directly in my TARDIS bag by the Knitted Broomstick. I anticipate probably by the time this episode goes live that I will probably finish the hat because they're that quick. Anyway, the next thing that I have been working on and I cast on the 1st of November is what I call the November DVD socks. I am actually using CC's I'll have 2 copies and 2 cherry Danishes to go please socks. Like I said, I really love this pattern. Spoiler, I'm already past the heel. What you're seeing in the picture is actually before I finished the heel for the day yesterday. And I just forgot to update the picture, but whatever. You can always follow me on Instagram for updates. I am using Desert Visit Dye Works Viso Base in the Holiday Striped Cup colorway. I absolutely love this colorway, you guys. I could not wait to get it started this month. I am using a size 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter on 9-inch circulars for a majority of the sock until I got to the heel where I needed to go ahead and move up to the 16-inch circular method. Oh, sorry. I'm going to be gushing about these socks for the whole time I'm working on them. Plus also I have a knot in the yarn I'm using, so I'm kind of delaying. Anyway, okay. This is actually being housed in my Black Jack Skellington bag by Molly Klein Designs. Like I said, I love the bag, everything. Anyway, the next thing that I have cast on since the last time we talked is what I called Honeydew socks. I'm actually using the Euglacia with Sonia socks. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. I am not a fan of elementary, so I don't know if that's correct. If you want to comment below and let me know below, that's up to you. And I'll be happy to hear from you. Basically, this pattern is actually by Dammy of Java Pearl Designs. They have done such a great job with this pattern that I am in absolute love with the pattern, as is MPI, who therefore he knows, don't worry. I am using Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in the Cucumber Tonal colorway. It looks like honeydew. That's where part of the title came from, the project name. I am using a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter on 9-inch circulars and 2 16-inch circulars for the toes, heels, and cuts. I am using a size 2. The pattern itself calls for a 1.5, but I have been known to need a little bit of extra room when it comes to cabling. Yeah, I'm a tight knitter when it comes to cabling. Don't know why, but there it is. I am actually using my Stained Class Beauty and the Beast bag by Molly Klein Design as well. Oh, I absolutely love this. I am now just past the heel on that one. And basically, the past 2 socks, I decided that I was going to do the 2 heels together. So, yeah. Anyway. The last thing that I have been working on since the last time we talked again is another new project. It's what I called an empty fire. I am using the 12 Socks with a Difference pattern by Wendy D. Johnson. I am using Trekking XXL in the 473 colorway. Honestly, it looks like fire, hence the title. These are for NTI. He knows, don't worry. And I am using a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter on 9-inch circulars. I am just about to get to the gusset on that, actually, which is amazing. I have put them down so many times throughout the course of the month. But anyway, this is actually being housed directly in my orange Haunted Mansion bag by the Knitted Broomstick. Like I said, I love, love these socks. I have been on I can't decide what I want to work on type binge over the past like month and a half or so. So having this many whips is understandable. Anyway, before I go off and ramble more, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Silver's unraveling fast. Yes, I did end up ripping out a project this time around. It's the purple Viajange that I had. I have decided that I no longer want to finish it. I have done one. I think one is gonna be good for enough for me. Anyway, just to recap, this was the Viajange pattern by Martina Babe. I was using Blue Moon Fiber Arts in the Silk Thread 2 colorway. It's a very, very thin cobweb type yarn. I used the colorway KMBFLA. If you don't know what it stands for, you might want to Google it. I won't say that here, just in case there are young ones about. Anyway, I was using a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter, and a US 3, which is a 3.25 for a majority of the shawl. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. X's and O's. Alright, you guys, I have been pretty much concentrating on 2 different types of projects since the last time we talked. Honestly, this is not really like X's and O's per se, but I didn't want to put it anywhere else. I have done at least 200 puzzles on the game Cross Me Color. It's kind of like a pit cross kind of game where you fill in by colors and you try to figure out, hey, what is it going to be at the very end? Honestly, I did do so many of them that I think I'm going to start counting it as a craft because, yeah. Anyway, the next thing that actually I have done a lot of work on since the last time we talked is the cross stitch project that I've been working on, the In This House ... Doctor Who by Stitch Area. Again, I will include their Etsy shop below and in the show notes as well. I have gotten to all through an entire row, plus going down to the bottom where the large Who is, and working on the scarves with color. I was kind of getting bored of just black, so I was like, okay, let me just keep on going. I decided that I was going to put as many of the colors in all at once as I can, so therefore I had to go ahead and, well, as they put it, park the different colorways until I needed them again, instead of just carrying them all and cutting and whatever. Anyway, yeah, I have so much fun working on this cross stitch. I cannot wait to be done, you guys, but it's such a huge piece for me. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Radio GaGa. Alright, you guys, it's been a very light month when it comes to the things that I have been listening to, mostly because, well, videos and everything and future segments will explain. Basically, when I got a chance, I was listening to the 90s playlist on Comcast quite a bit, just to kind of clear my palate, and because 90s music kind of hit the spot for me this month, don't know why. In terms of podcasts that I was listening to, I did listen to the Murder Squad, my favorite murder, Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, maybe one episode. And that's why we drink. Actually, to be honest, I don't know why it's still here in Radio Gaga, as I pretty much watch them on YouTube, but they're also on, they're basically an audio podcast too, so it counts. Anyway, I've also been listening to Wine and Crime, Verified, and Martinis and Murder. You guys, if you like true crime and you haven't seen any of these podcasts, I do highly recommend them. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next segment. Silver's book pile. Okay, you guys, it's been kind of a busy month with books. I managed to finish 20 of them. I have read No Kitten Around by R.J. Blaine. I finished that one. Foul Play, Blending In, Cheetahs Never Win. I've also read Stole His Vampire Heart by Mercy Levy. Also An Examinatress by Laura Blakely. Also read Red Wolf by Kiera Sparks. Captive by Celia Sykes. Creepers, a couple other books by Celia Sykes as well. Yeah. I don't remember the titles. Sorry, I know I have two of them in here, but I also read Encounters by Emily Kaufman. Also read Race to Trial by Beth Harris. Wild Bear Mates by Lily Wilder. Scared to Love by Mary Bart. Claimed by the Vampire by Bonner King. Also have My Devil by Christine Mythic. Holding Hope and Raw. Sorry, I don't remember the authors on that one. They went by so fast, as did Last Cowboy in West Texas, as well as The Good Game by Kay David. You can kind of just tell they're random books that I kind of picked up on the free pile, and they were interesting to say the very least. I won't go into any details. This one I did abandon about, I would say, about 10 or 15 pages in. I have to say, no fault to the author. I think they were trying to go for like colloquialisms and like things like that, but it was called The Liquor King, basically based on the Tiger King epidemic, I guess. I think you can call it an epidemic, but anyway, I don't know. It was not my thing. And I had to give up. That was my own deal, though. I am currently reading The Assistant by Laurie Ames. Like I mentioned in last time's episode, I think I'm going to give Harry Potter a little bit of a break. I'm still having all the feels about the author, so yeah. Anyway, before I ramble about that and I get political or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Silver and the Case of the Screen Time. Okay, you guys, like I mentioned in Radio Gaga, I have been watching a lot, and I repeat, a lot of stuff since the last time we talked. Let's see, I have been watching Masked Singer, also Supernatural. I did find on Peacock the Mr. Mercedes series. I absolutely loved it. I like binged that in like 2 days. I loved it. Season 2 I haven't gotten to yet, mostly because I don't want to pay for the subscription, but that's just me. I have also watched a couple episodes of American Ninja Warrior just because I could. Apparently they're back for their new season, even during COVID, which is fun. I have also been watching Ghost Nation, a couple episodes, plus their Halloween special, a 2-hour Halloween special. I liked it. It was so much fun. I've also been watching Destination Fear. They're back. They've been back a couple weeks now. I love that series, you guys. And also the Holzer Files came back, believe it or not. I think their first episode came on Saturday, or was it Sunday? I don't remember. The Dead Files is actually back too. Have not caught up with them though. That's so bad. But anyway, more content for next time, right? Okay. And what has been a lot of my time and a lot of my watching time have been movies. You ready, you guys? I have watched Corpse Bride, Pride and Prejudice, and Zombies. Also, you have Beetlejuice, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Mummy, Ghostbusters, House of Wax, Independence Day, Rose Red, the original Halloween, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection, and then Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers. I have watched all 7 of the Saw movies. I've also watched Christine, the newer version, 1 and 2, mostly because, I don't actually own the first one, the first iteration of it. I don't know why. I should rectify that soon. I also watched Pet Sematary, The Shining, also Paranormal Activity 1 through 3. I didn't watch after that, mostly because, quite frankly, I lose steam with that series at that point. I also watched Carrie, the newer version, also Final Destination 1 through 5, as you do. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, also Dracula 2000, Blair Witch Project, The Craft, Practical Magic, and Hocus Pocus. Yes. I was a little bit busy during Vlogtober. What do you think? Anyway, in terms of podcasts, I have watched GGKCS, Stitching the High Notes, Unseen Strands, then Criminally Creative, Adorn Knit Girls, Dramatic Knits, Stockinit Zombies, and Meditative Crafter. Yes. Yes, they do have a podcast now. I have also been watching a lot of random YouTube stuff. More specifically, channels I've been watching are the Matthews fam, Siska Says, who is actually doing the reactions to Supernatural episodes. She is now midway through the 2nd season, so I can't wait to see what she says about later seasons. I have been watching IO. I have been watching Top 10 Central, Top 10 Dark, Top 10 Vibe, all those channels, or pretty much all 4 of those are the same the company, all the same hosts that I really like. I've also been watching King of the Road, which is kind of like, hey, car crashes, different things people have done wrong on the road. It's like a pacifier for me sometimes. Don't know why. MTI thinks I'm crazy. Anyway, I've also been watching GT Ogre, who is very well known for his towing videos. They're amazing, and the way that he comments on all the videos, he's got a snark track, different things that he puts in there. It's amazing. The editing is on point. And I've also been watching Camelot 331. Lots of watching him live and also watching his videos, because Anyway, I am going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. The more you know. All right, let's talk a cow breakdown and the great podcaster Craft Together. So, a little bit of detail, the Craft Together actually started on January 1st and actually will go until December 31st, maybe a little bit until the 1st of next year. So, if you are a podcaster and like to go ahead and host an FO thread, you can go ahead and do that. That is fine. Any chatter threads are even better. That way we can kind of see what everyone's working on. Yay. Giving prizes in that case is up to your personal preference. So, if you are officially participating in the along and you are a podcaster, please just PM me directly, or you can even email me, silverstreamline at gmail.com. I will go ahead and add you to the list of the podcast participating and including your podcast banner. And I can even add you to the list of moderators, especially in our Discord group. However, if you do listen to any podcast at all and would like to go ahead, just please feel free to join in and spread the word. I do use the hashtag TGPAL2020 on Instagram and everywhere. So please go ahead and use that. You can use it on Facebook, you can use it on Instagram, I don't care. The rules are very simple. You must be a member of the Silver Streamline Discord group or be a member of the Facebook group as well with that same name. If you do choose not to use Discord, like I mentioned, please go ahead, use the hashtag on Instagram. I actually do pull your FO photos from there and from our Facebook group. I will actually have a post in that Facebook group where you can comment your FO photos. And like I mentioned, I will go ahead and grab all FO pictures from those feeds throughout the year as well. I'll actually be using the same type of numbering system that we've had on, the site that will not be named, to try to make it more streamlined. And like I said, I will use in a post or a comment on your post saying, if you see like post number whatever as a comment either on Facebook or even directly on your Instagram, you'll know what FO post number you are, so that when I refer to post number whatever, you'll know. I do want to try to make that whole process as transparent as I possibly can. This year, there isn't a minimum yardage goal, so please have at it. Single socks do count unless you do finish the pair, so each pair only counts once. Sorry. Any project that you finish in 2020 will count. So all finished projects will count, even no matter when you started it, they will count. I just ask that you post like before and after photos on the, especially like the bigger projects, just because I'm very nosy. Anyway, poly dipping is allowed and even encouraged. If you do wish to share the other alongs that your item will participate in as well, just let us know. And then that way we can go ahead and post there if we would like to, depending on the rules of the other alongs. Now, in the case of scrappy blankets, so one stripe or one square does count as an FO in this context, because quite frankly, who isn't working on some version of a scrappy blanket? Or in my case, like 2, 3 plus, Basically, this also includes the little hexies too. Each hexie or hexapuff or anything like that, any little component of a bigger blanket will count as well. That's going to be a rule that I'm very cheater friendly in this along if I can. Now, what you came here for, right? The prize is I am giving away 4 total copies of my Proud to Be Me pattern or the Wizarding World Tour patterns that I created. This is 1 per quarter. So these will actually sent via direct PDFs, either here aka in Discord, or even via email. That will actually be your choice as to which one we use. The next thing we're giving away is a free pattern from Java Pearl Designs that will be given away 1 per month, so a total of 12. These will actually be sent now via direct PDF, like I mentioned, via here on Discord or even via email. I think email might be easier for CC. So in this case, if you do happen to win a Java Pearl Designs, please go to www.javapearldesigns.com and choose which pattern you would like, and then I will send which one you would like over via DM on Discord or via email as soon as I possibly can. Also, there's a prize for a $10 gift card to a wool warehouse in your area, like Webs or anything like that. Basically where, you can get the most bang for your gift card buck. So, this is actually in place of the weekly pattern prizes that I used to do on the site that will not be named. These will be sent out to everyone at the end of the year, basically in case there are multiple times that somebody wins, and then that way the winners can actually just make one purchase instead of multiple throughout the year, and like I said, get more bang for your buck. Now, like I used to do again on the site that will not be named, I used to do for every 50 FOs, I'm not going to be giving away any more patterns. Like I said, for the reasons that I mentioned a couple episodes ago, I cannot in good conscience spend money on that site. Never again. But that's neither here nor there. From Desert Vista Dye Works, we are giving away 3 different skeins of yarn. On her Viso base, we are giving away the Neon Cotton Candy colorway. Love it. We're also giving away Somebody Needs Some Courage. And on her Xian or Sparkle base, we are giving away the Mother of All Somebody Queens, which is an 8 striper. It's, You guys, colorways are amazing. So thank you, Sue, for donating those wonderful skeins. From Nice and Knit, there's actually 2 different colorways on their fingering base. The first is the Sand Dollar colorway, and the second is the Times Square colorway. So yay! Thank you so much, ladies, for donating those as well. And now I've actually been donated a skein of Sweet Georgia yarns in the Rainbow Sparkle colorway, or Rainbow Sprinkles colorway, sorry. That was actually donated directly to us from the owner of my local LYS, which is the New England Yarn and Spindle LLC store. Oh my gosh, she's unbelievable, and I cannot wait. If you happen to be in the area, you need to go to this store, you guys. And the last thing that we're giving away is from Knitpicks. This is a gold needle organizer. I absolutely love it, you guys. All right, who finished FOs in the month of October? Well, we had Cindy L, Emily R, I Now Hour, Linda, Meditative Crafter, Nicole S, and VT Kimmy Kim. So congratulations, you guys. Your FOs are unbelievable. All right, let's talk most loves. Now, with the changeover from Rav, things for this category have changed obviously a bit. I have been continuing to love each and every project that has been entered into the along. Sorry. This does include on Facebook, Instagram, and in the Discord server that I created. I have just put up a thread on Discord for those who wish to continue playing for the honorable mentions there on Discord as well. If you'd like to play along, just please follow the hashtag TGPAL2020 hashtag on Instagram and the Fbook, the Facebook group, to vote for your favorite FOs from October, which happens to be post number 638 to 679 before the 1st of December. On both Facebook and Instagram, all you need to do is hit the love/heart buttons, reaction buttons. On Discord, you only need to add a reaction to the post that you're voting for. Or specifically, now that I've actually gone ahead and put my hard eyes reaction on each one, all you need to do now is just click that little button, and it will actually keep a tally of all the votes that come that way too. So it's easier for all of us, and it's very transparent. I love that. The winners from here on out, like I mentioned a couple episodes ago, will actually be given a $10 gift card to their local wool warehouse. And as in this case, I actually will be awarding these by the end of the year. I ask that you do send me an email at silverstreamlet@gmail.com with the warehouse that you'd like the gift card through. And if you prefer now or at the end of the year, this also includes, you can probably message me on Discord as well, and I will answer. Probably a little bit faster than the email at this point, but anyway, that's another issue altogether. Now, what you're here for, the prize winners, right? The winner of our monthly Java Pearl Designs pattern is post number 210, who is Try Linda on Rav. I may have to have you email me directly. Once again, it's just silverstreamland@gmail.com with which Java Pearl designs you would like. The winner of the $10 gift card goes to post number 261, who is Welsh Central on Rav. Again, they all again may have to email me directly with their which one they would like. Let's talk most loves from September. I'm going to tell you right now. This was from post number 603 to 637. There was a tie actually between for most loves. There were 4 each for post number 607 and post number 633. 607 was VT Kimmy Kim, and post number 633 was post number 4. So congratulations, you guys. Wow. I love you guys. I am flabbergasted with how much I love your FOs, you guys. I'm looking at I had to switch over. I switched over to the Discord server to look at them. Amazing. All right, let's talk the voters from September. Now, everyone who's actually voted on the Facebook group, on Instagram, or even in the Discord server, all the voters there have actually been given a number, and then I put that number into random.org. Random.org's pick for this month was number 5, who is Cindy L. over on Facebook. So please go ahead and just PM me with which warehouse these were going to. All right, and now before I go ahead and do any more rambling about the awesomeness of the prizes, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. All right, we have come to the end of the road. I am pretty social. You can actually find me on our Discord board, which is Silver's Dream Ed Podcast. It's actually searchable, but I'll go ahead and I will put a link to the invite link directly in the show notes and on YouTube as well in the description box below, so you can find us. I am actually Silver D, then the number sign 8858 there on Discord. You can find me that way as well. On Facebook, Silver's Dream Ed can actually be found in a groups tab under Silver's Dream Ed Podcast. You can search it, or you can go to www.facebook.com/groups/Silver's Dream Ed Podcast. Yes, I know you'll find actually two, both a group and a page. If you follow the group, you'll see all the episodes and all the long updates. When each of my episodes go live, the notifications may actually bounce onto the page as well, just so you know. A note about the Facebook group: you do need to answer 3 questions, as I'm trying to keep spammers out of the group. First question is what episode I'm up to. Well, today I'm actually up to episode 98. Second question: what is the name of Silver's son? Mario the cat / Mario. I will also accept MTI if I've been having a fight with him. And honestly, it's just a funny question either way. If you don't remember either of those answers, that's fine. Just note that in your answers. Chances are you'll be in. However, you do need to read the group rules and hit that agree button. The rules are pretty simple and absolute in my eyes when you answer the questions. Honestly, you just have to agree to be nice. If you can't do that, you automatically will actually bounce your request and say no. So you know. I will give you a chance to fix that within like the 24 hours after receiving that, but mostly, yeah. But you can definitely go ahead and reapply afterward if you accidentally don't click it. It happens, you know. Anyway, on Instagram, I am Silver's Treats. On Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. So you know, I do tend to read through all messages as soon as I possibly can. However, if you don't hear from me within 24 hours for some strange reason, please just feel free to send me an email directly at silversdreaming@gmail.com. As always, everything that I do talk about can actually be found directly in the show notes at www.silversdreamingpodcast.com. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to subscribe and hit the bell down below. Actually, this is the best way that people can find me in my little corner of YouTube. It actually bumps me up a little bit on YouTube so people can find me more. And also, when you hit that bell, you can actually see when I post videos almost right away. Okay, I have rambled for long enough. I know your time is valuable, so please feel free to join in any discussion, or you can even start your own directly on the Silver Dreamland Discord board or even Facebook group. I don't bite, I promise. If you are feeling generous, please click that like button below this video. Like I said, it really does help my channel out. So please stay tuned for episode 99 next month. Until next time, happy crafting. And in terms of the voters for the month, wow, okay, that rambly bit has to go bye-bye. Because I have the wrong month right in here. No, wait. No, it doesn't. I'm a month behind. I'm such a stew nod. Ugh. I'm hitting my head on the table. You can't see it. But anyway,